Human trafficking crackdown has landed 135 people behind bars. Attorney General Dave Yost made that announcement today.
Operation Next Door is all an effort to pull young victims off the streets.
In Ohio, a massive undercover sting has exposed just how close exploitation can be to home. Operation Next Door led to the arrest of 135 people, from a priest to a teacher, even a defense attorney, all caught in a statewide crackdown on human trafficking and child exploitation. Behind the headlines are the lives saved: a missing 17-year-old recovered from a predator's home, a 14-year-old girl rescued in Northeast Ohio, and dozens of survivors referred to care. Tonight, we uncover the details of one of the largest operations in Ohio's history, where the offenders weren't hidden in shadows, but living right next door. 135 arrests that shook Ohio. Operation Next Door was launched in September 2025 as one of the largest coordinated efforts against human trafficking in Ohio's history. Led by Attorney General Dave Yost and the Organized Crime Investigations Commission, the operation involved more than 100 law enforcement agencies working together across the state.
The message is don't buy sex in Ohio. These fine people are on the job 24/7. They're operating all year round.
The scale of the sting underscored both the seriousness of the issue and the determination of authorities to confront it head on. Over the course of the investigation, 135 individuals were arrested. Among them, 103 were taken into custody for attempting to purchase sex, including cases involving solicitations directed at minors. An additional 32 faced felony charges related to prostitution, pandering obscenity involving minors, and possession of child sexual abuse material. These numbers made the operation stand out, not only for the volume of arrests, but also for the wide range of charges and the scope of criminal activity uncovered. The arrests revealed disturbing realities. Offenders included individuals from varied walks of life, ranging from professionals to those already on sex offender registries. The operation demonstrated how trafficking and exploitation networks operate openly within communities, often with little outward sign of criminal behavior. Authorities emphasized that the name Next Door was chosen deliberately to highlight that such crimes can occur close to home, sometimes involving people who appear to be ordinary neighbors. The unprecedented scale of the crackdown sent shockwaves through Ohio and beyond. Children rescued, survivors found. While Operation Next Door is remembered for its record-setting arrests, its most important outcome was the identification and recovery of survivors. Authorities confirmed that 67 potential victims were located and referred to care, marking a crucial step in protecting the vulnerable individuals directly affected by exploitation. These referrals connected survivors to medical treatment, counseling, and long-term support programs aimed at helping them rebuild their lives. Among the most significant rescues was a 14-year-old girl discovered in Northeast Ohio. Her recovery highlighted how predators often target minors who may already be in vulnerable situations. In another case, a 17-year-old missing girl from Cleveland was found living with a registered sex offender. The discovery underscored the dangerous environments into which exploited children can disappear, often without immediate detection. Authorities also reported an adult with developmental disabilities who was transported by a suspected trafficker into a sting location, proving that individuals with cognitive challenges are also prime targets for exploitation. Each of these rescues showed how trafficking is not limited to anonymous victims, but can affect children and adults within familiar communities. The survivors recovered during the operation serve as reminders that behind every statistic is a human being enduring trauma. By prioritizing victim identification and support, the crackdown not only removed offenders, but also created pathways for recovery. The hidden evidence behind closed doors. Beyond the arrests and rescues, Operation Next Door also uncovered physical and digital evidence that will shape ongoing prosecutions. Authorities executed 9 search warrants in multiple cities, including Cleveland, Toledo, and Akron. These searches targeted massage parlors, private residences, and associated businesses that investigators identified as fronts for illegal activity. The warrants revealed the extent to which trafficking and exploitation can be concealed within seemingly ordinary establishments. During the raids, officers seized over $62,000 in cash, which investigators believe was tied to illicit operations. In addition to money, law enforcement recovered mobile devices, computers, and electronic storage units suspected of containing evidence of solicitation and child exploitation material. These items are being analyzed by forensic teams to strengthen criminal cases against those arrested. The seized property also included business records and documentation that could reveal broader networks or patterns of organized trafficking. Officials stressed that the evidence not only supported current charges, but also opened doors to further investigations. By targeting physical locations and collecting digital records, authorities built a comprehensive case that extended beyond isolated arrests. The coordinated strategy showed that traffickers often operate in plain sight while attempting to mask illegal activity within legitimate businesses. The shocking faces of the arrested. Operation Next Door drew national attention not only because of the number of arrests, but also because of who was arrested. The sweep exposed the disturbing reality that individuals from trusted professions and positions of authority were among those seeking to exploit others. One of the most shocking arrests was that of a 76-year-old Greek Orthodox priest taken into custody for solicitation. His involvement underscored how exploitation can intersect with roles that are often associated with morality and leadership. A teacher from Cleveland Heights was also arrested, raising concerns about individuals with direct access to children engaging in criminal behavior. Adding to the gravity of the findings, a federal defense attorney and a former police officer were implicated, demonstrating that no profession is immune from this issue. In total, 135 people were arrested statewide. Of these, 103 men were charged with attempting to purchase sex, often through online platforms or undercover meetings set up by investigators. The remaining 32 faced felony charges, including pandering obscenity involving minors, possession of child sexual abuse material, and compelling prostitution. Some offenders were already registered sex offenders, while others had traveled from outside Ohio, willing to cross state lines in pursuit of exploitation. The diversity of backgrounds among those arrested revealed that trafficking demand cannot be confined to stereotypes. Offenders came from different age groups, professions, and socioeconomic standings. What connected them was their willingness to participate in a system of exploitation. Operation Next Door dismantled the illusion that communities are insulated from such crimes, showing instead that perpetrators can be neighbors, colleagues, or community leaders. Why it's called Operation Next Door, the name of the sting carried a message that resonated far beyond the arrests. Attorney General Dave Yost explained that Operation Next Door was chosen to remind the public that human trafficking is not a distant issue. It is happening within familiar communities, sometimes hidden in plain sight. The branding of the operation reflected a sobering reality. Offenders and victims are often found in the same neighborhoods, schools, and workplaces as everyone else. Public reaction to the operation underscored the weight of that message. Many Ohio residents expressed shock that individuals from respected professions, including clergy and educators, were among those arrested. The revelations challenged assumptions about who traffickers are and emphasized the importance of vigilance in everyday life. For survivors and their advocates, The sting reinforced the need for ongoing awareness campaigns that focus not just on rescuing victims, but also on disrupting the demand driving the crimes. Officials have highlighted that the operation is as much about education as enforcement. By giving the crackdown a name that draws attention to proximity, authorities hope to encourage communities to look more closely at the signs of exploitation and to report suspicious activity. The phrase "next door" was not chosen lightly. It was a call to action, urging the public to recognize that trafficking is not hidden in far-off places, but may be unfolding just beyond their own doorsteps. The fight against trafficking is far from over. Although Operation Next Door delivered significant results, officials have been clear that the arrests represent only one chapter in a much larger fight. Trafficking networks adapt quickly, and law enforcement expects that many of the cases uncovered in September 2025 will lead to new investigations and additional prosecutions. Survivors identified during the operation are now beginning long-term recovery processes, supported by social service providers and advocacy organizations. Attorney General Yost and other leaders have emphasized that the next steps involve ensuring convictions, holding offenders accountable, and preventing new cycles of abuse. Prosecutors are preparing to bring forward evidence gathered during the raids, from seized cash to digital files, to build strong cases in court. The impact of these prosecutions will ripple across the state, serving as both punishment and deterrent. The sting also highlighted systemic issues that extend beyond Ohio. Online solicitation platforms, organized criminal groups, and demand from seemingly ordinary individuals all contribute to the persistence of trafficking. Authorities believe the success of Operation Next Door will serve as a model for other states, showing how coordinated, large-scale operations can both rescue victims and send a powerful message to offenders. For communities across Ohio, the operation offered a reminder that awareness is critical. Vigilance, education, and continued cooperation between law enforcement and the public remain essential to protecting vulnerable lives. The arrests may have been historic, but the fight against trafficking is far from over. Operation Next Door reminds us that trafficking isn't always distant or hidden. It can be just beyond the walls of our own communities. 135 people now face charges, and while survivors are receiving care, the operation also raises urgent questions. How many others remain unseen? Authorities stress this is only the beginning of a larger fight, and the public must stay aware, vigilant, and engaged. As the court cases unfold, the impact of this sting will be measured not only in arrests, but in lives protected. Because sometimes the most dangerous crimes are happening right next door.